Greetings, beautiful earthlings. My name is Star. If you haven't met me yet, I am so grateful to meet you. And I am a tarot reader, so I do have a message for you today. If you feel so inclined to stay, feel free. If not, I'll catch you in the next one. Today I do have the wonderful Queen Lilith here in the house. I might not be using cards, to be honest. She has been pushing me to get away from my cards, but they're here just in case. I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell, clear the energy a little bit. And give me just a second to ask her what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so if you're here and you feel like you want to stay and listen to this message, you may be already a practitioner of sorts, right? You may already have some experience in what it is you're doing, and you may be feeling called to other divination methods. This is funny to me because I am a tarot reader, and I've been a tarot reader for about 6 or 7 years, something like that. And I have been getting pushed to get out of my comfort zone and go toward other types of divination ones, especially, that make me real fucking itchy. So the one that flew out while I was shuffling is actually the Page of Wands, and this is talking about going towards some kind of new adventure with like a childlike sense of wonder, some type of like fresh eyes and creativity and, you know, just excitement and curiosity, and being a student of whatever it is that makes you really, really excited. So when it comes to wands, we're talking about passion, right? We're talking about creativity. And what I'm hearing is what ignites you, what lights your soul on fire, right? So I'm going to rattle off some methods of divination just in case you don't particularly know of any outside of things like tarot reading. There is a billion different ways to scry. Fun fact. I'm getting a burp, sorry. There are a million different ways to scry. You can use a crystal ball. You can use crystals, actually. You can use a bowl of water. You can use a mirror. And I personally have been led to mirrors lately because it's like the thing that scares me the most. But what I mean by you can scry with crystals, if you didn't know, you can actually pick up a crystal that really calls to you, and the more intricate it is to look at, the better. So let me give you an example. Now, I know this is also technically a ball, but this is what I got this ball for because this is optical calcite, and optical calcite is known for its properties of like clarity, right, of being able to see. It is called optical calcite, and this one, I don't know if you can see it too well with the front camera, has a lot of striations. I've never seen optical calcite in sphere form. It is a very cubical type of crystal in its nature, but as you can see, there are lots of lines, lots of striations, and actually when you catch this in the right light, it is full of rainbows because of all of those lines and striations. So this is something that I am drawn more toward than my obsidian crystal ball. Obsidian is known for being a scrying crystal, you know, in history, among the ages, things like that. But I personally hold obsidian, especially my obsidian ball. I will just hold it and kind of let it speak to me and guide me through astral travel, whereas something like this I can actually look at. And the way that you're going to scry with this is just kind of look at it and let it speak to you. And just stare at it and get lost. Get really lost in it. Get really lost in the rainbows. Get lost in the inclusions. So that's why I say something that has a lot of stuff to look at is going to be really good for scrying. A lot of people will choose to use a very clear crystal ball. Again, that's your prerogative, whatever calls to you. If you have a stone that calls to you that just happens to be super clear, it might work a little bit better for you. But I personally think the more interesting it is to look at, the more interesting it is to scry with. I think that's why mirrors are so hard for me to work with. Not only because I'm scared shitless of mirrors, but also because I'm kind of just staring at myself, right? It's like you have to learn to look past the image that you're looking at when scrying. Now, if scrying is something that calls to you, of course, go look it up. find out more about it, especially something like water scrying. It's very easy to do. You can just get a bowl of water. Some people choose to get an organic type of material bowl. You can get like a crystal bowl if you have the means to get something like an obsidian bowl. That would be really cool, but it is very expensive. You don't have to do that. You could get a regular bowl, you could get a black bowl, you could get a metal bowl, you could get a wooden bowl. I feel like organic substances are the best to work with when it comes to bowls. I personally wouldn't use plastic or glass or ceramic, but it still does work because, again, you're scrying with the water and not the bowl. It doesn't matter what kind of bowl. You can honestly just use the water. You can dip your fingers in the water. You can swirl it around, do whatever you need to do, stare into the water like a mirror. You can also put a couple of drops of frankincense in the water. Frankincense is very good for opening up your third eye, your visions, your clairvoyancy, things like that. So if you're the type of person who does have oils on hand, you can rub the frankincense on your third eye, your temples, the back of the neck. Ask it to work with you, ask it to open up your senses, things like that, and speak over the frankincense before you put it in the water. You can also use frankincense incense and scry with the smoke. There are so many like natural organic ways that you can scry, and I don't want to convince you that you need to go buy things because you don't. I'm sure you have mirrors in your house that came with the house, right? I'm sure you have, if you don't have frankincense smoke, you can always just blow out a candle or scry with the fire, things like that. You can, like, there are so many ways that you can scry without having to go out and buy yourself something fancy. I was under the impression when I was newly starting out that, maybe if I found the right thing to scry with, that it would call to me, and it would just call to me so much that I couldn't ignore it, right? And that's not really how that works. It's kind of like, yeah, it'll call to you, but it's up to you to put in the work, to put in the practice, to put in the time, and actually learn to work with this thing, actually go about researching it, actually practice with it, right? I'm getting another burp confirmation, sorry. But anyways, other types of divination that aren't scrying, sorry, I went off on a huge tangent there. You can always use a pendulum. Pendulums are a little bit more particular to your energy, so it's really hard to just pick up a pendulum and work with it. You do have to bond with pendulums. So something that you wear all the time, like a necklace, that you wear a lot, something like this, especially if it has a point or it's an organic material, again, doesn't have to be a crystal. I'm not saying go out and buy a brand new crystal. It can be something like this. It can be like a coin. You can have like one of those saint medallions or something that somebody gave you and use that as a pendulum, something like this. It doesn't matter. If it's something that you wear on your person on a regular basis, it will already be bonded to you. But if you do want to go out of your way to pick a pendulum, try to find one that does call to you. So again, I personally think that organic materials work best. So I have this one that I got a couple years ago, which has herbs and flowers in it. These were created for a specific purpose or intent, but what I like about this is that I can open it and put whatever I want inside of it. So if I do so choose one day to fill this with different herbs or whatever, I can. I think this one was specifically for good luck or something like that, but I bonded with this one a lot and it worked really well with me. But the other day I was out shopping and this one actually called to me. I really love red jasper and clear quartz, and what I like to do when asking a pendulum if it wants to go home with me is just stick my hand under it like that and see if it starts vibrating or wobbling or doing something. This was there it is. Thank you, pendulum. This one was on like a shelf with a bunch of pendulums, and this is the only one that moved, so that's why that one came home with me. Again, so many ways of divination: bones, runes, cards. Of course, you can use playing cards, things like that. I also found this book. It's the Book of Divination. If you guys ever want me to like go into this and find some random things we don't know about, I can always do that as well. Let me know in the comments. I have no problem diving into this book. But there's also a type of book divination where you just open to a random page, pick a random line, ask a question, whatever, and it'll divine for you. So, Yeah, thank you, Mother Lilith, for that